Magnus here and secure himself a slot in day 2. So no matter what happens here, Ben, we're going to have a very fun game.
Yeah, both of these players are winners in my heart.
Yeah,
and, both made it all the way to this winning in for this Utrecht special championships. But both of these players I think was significant here. No notable achievements for either player. So both of these players are going to be hungry for the win to take themselves into day 2 to make that first breakthrough event for themselves. And here we see the prize cards coming down. Nothing of notable significance. However, that Scizor, the baby Scizor in the Okie Dokie list with that punishing scissors attack. I think we can get into how this matchup might come out. And of course, this Okie Dokie list, it has the Scizor, it has the Okie Dokie, it has the Dudunsparce EX. This looks tailor-made to beat these sorts of deck like Maridon.
It really is. And here we go. Our Swiss round 8 feature match here in the Utrecht special is getting started with Matthew over on the left, who has led that copy of the Dudunsparce, I should say, and is playing a nest ball. Now, let's take a second to familiarise ourselves here with Matthew's list, because quite honestly, I wouldn't blame you for not knowing anything about it. So we do see the nest ball. We're going to conclude attach a luminous energy and pass it over real quick. Okie Dokie has the adrenaline power ability. If it has a dark energy attack, it gets an extra 100 hit points, and your attacks do an extra 100 damage. Now, its one and only attack is the aptly named Good Punch. It does 70 damage. So if there's a dark energy attack, which don't forget luminous energy will provide, it actually going to be swinging for 170 damage, and we'll have 230 hit points as a basic. There was a little bit more in Matthew's deck, but how about we take a little breather? I'm going to throw it over to you, Ben, and we can talk about Gregory's deck.
We spoke about Adrenaline Brain, but Adrenaline Power certainly here. Well, Okie Dokie, plus 100 HP, plus 100 more damage on his attacks. Good Punch doing that 170 damage for that weakness. But like you said, let's have a look at Gregory's list. It's pretty much an ample Joltik deck that we all know and love. It has the Maridon, it has the Iron Hands. I think for Gregory here, he's not going to be too familiar with this matchup, you would have thought. And I think capitalizing on those Iron Hands attacks the Ampy very much, taking double prizes as much as possible, so he can get around this massive threat of the Okie Dokie, taking advantage of the weakness of the Maridon on the Iron Hands. That's definitely going to be the prime thing that's on Gregory's mind here.
But Ben, how are we going to get those 4 energy onto Iron Hands? How are we doing that?
So the Joltik charge on that Joltik, the 30 HP, the little guy on that bench there, it doesn't look that threatening, but it's not attacking, it's just powering up. The Joltik charge for 1 energy attachment is going to be looking for 2 grass and 2 lightning from deck and attach it to your Pokemon in any way you like. And now that is a fantastic way of accelerating energy.
Really
now, of course, Maridon used to depend on cards like Electric Generator to get energy on board, but this Joltik is just that more efficient and gets those Iron Hands up turn 2,
That is terrifying, as we do see Tandem Unit going to grab the Joltik Iron Hands, and Nestball will grab the Latias, and we do see the Arven that's going to grab a Nestball and the Torkoal. Now, worth noting that Latias EX will give everything, or the base, I should say, free retreat cost. Now, worth noting, the future boost energy capture will boost that damage on Ampy very much to 140, and we do see Nestball grabbing Pikachu. Now, Ben, as we are going to see, I imagine, a free retreat into the Jolt in charge. There is actually a little interesting wrinkle I want our viewers to keep an eye on here, and that is the Gull of Vantula, the one prize that might actually have to put a little bit of use here. Stage 1, Compound Eyes ability, the attacks this Pokemon do an extra 50 to your opponent's Pokemon have any abilities attached. So, Shocking Web with a lightning energy will deal, what is that, 130, plus the extra 50 for Compound Eyes. That can get a nice little high number, and you might be looking to try and use as many one prizes as possible, since Okie Dokie itself is a one prize.
I think for Gregory is how does he get around this awkward HP cost of the Okie Dokie? He has no way of switching off the ability of the Luminous Energy, which is acting in this circumstance as a Darkness Energy on the Okie Dokie. So, it's going to be plus 100 more HP on the Okie Dokie, like we said, and it's going to be 230 HP, which is really hard for this Maridon to get around. So I think the story of this game is going to be, how does Gregory get around this awkward HP cost?
Well, I'll tell you, there is one way that we can see, or 2 ways actually. Blood Moon gets there, Kind at the end of the game.
Yes.
Pikachu EX gets there, but that's the most inefficient way to take one prize card I've ever seen, that Topaz Bolt, as Gregory, you have to pick up and say, hang on, what is this little young fella do? Now, the Dudunsparce, let's talk about this as a draw engine. Lets you shuffle itself away, and then you draw 3 cards, and you can do it from the active as well, meaning it can be a free retreat pivot. But there we do see the shuffle away draw. Here we are going to see Cypher, that is the basic one from 151. It does have a free retreat cost. Awesome. I'm going to grab a basic Pokemon with a non-rule box. Now, one thing I want to draw your attention to, one of them is in the prize cards, but the Scissor is a very good attack. Punishing Scissors does 50 extra damage for each opponent's Pokemon in play that has an ability and starts off at 10. So worth noting, Maridon has an ability, Blood Moon has an ability, Latias has an ability, Pikachu has an ability. That's 210 damage for 1 energy on a stage 1 already.
There are so many threats that Gregory has to deal with in this game, and he's not quite sure what he has to deal with as of yet. But here we see the Crispin, and of course the Scizor, the Dudunsparce EX, which he isn't aware of just yet, and the Okie Dokie. It just seems like Matthew's deck just has so many ways to get around this matchup, and so many ways of taking these big one-hit knockouts on these 2 prizes.
That's a ridiculous sentence that you just said. If I told you before here on rehearsal, you would have been saying, the punishing Scissors and the Okie Dokie. I wouldn't believe you, but that is what Matthew is letting us say. Thank you to Matthew. Now, we did see the Crispin as well. So we already did see the Melt Energy get put to hand, Fire Energy get attached to the bench. Now, Melt Energy gets attached to the top. Do we have the Scissor? We're going to see a retreat. We are going to see the retreat, but here we go, Ben. Yep. We're going to get to see the big, the bad, the scary, good punch. That's a bit of a great punch, to be honest. Another 230 hit point Okie Dokie right now. Matthew takes his first prize card here in our Swiss round 8 feature match here. Remember, folks, if you're joining us in, both players need to win this game to get into day 2.
Yeah, that Joltik was really, really knocked out. That Okie Dokie, good punch now doing 170 damage thanks to that Adrenaline Power ability with the Luminous Energy attached. It's plus 100 damage and 100 HP, as we've already said before. And, we're going to keep saying
damage onto that Joltik.
And we keep saying it because it is so important. Because Gregory has a couple of awkward things to deal with here. Okay, let's take a chance here and take out the knockout on the Okie Dokie, but then he has to deal with the potential Dudunsparce EX and the Scizor.
Yeah.
And this Okie Dokie is here to stay by the looks of it, because there's no energy attached to anything that can take a knockout here. There's nothing here that can do 230 damage.
Let's flip the scripts. Do you see the prime catcher? That's what's cut you off there. Does he flip the scripts? But yeah, you're right. How do you get through this Okie Dokie? 230 hit point, and worth noting is that flip the scripts presentivity. That's another Pokemon has an ability, Ben. That means the punishing Scissors getting even more punishing. Now, we are going to see Pokegear 3.0. I think, what is that?
I think maybe does he just give up on knocking out the Okie Dokie and try to get around guessing the Scizor or the Dudunsparce and take knockouts with Ampy very much to take 2 prizes?
I think that's fairly sensible, actually. I think that's fairly sensible. The only problem with that is, though, at some point you're going to have to try and weave in energy to set up another attacker.
Yes,
if you're playing boss, you aren't playing Crispin. But there is a Crispin now. That's the sort of way these Joltik box decks like to get extra energy in play Crispin, and you search your deck for 2 different colour basic energy, attach one, put the other one in your hands. You're basically another free energy attachment here. But wow, Ben, this Okie Dokie, it hits Maridon, weakness. It hits Iron Hands, weakness, Presentivity, weakness, Pikachu. Well, it can't get one shot. It's hitting that for weakness still, so that's a lot of pressure from Okie Dokie.
I would have liked to have seen maybe an attachment earlier with the Joltik charge on the Pikachu EX, just as an option for an attacker, because it is going to be doing that massive 300 damage and would take a knockout on this Okie Dokie. And potentially you want to hope that Matthew maybe can't get anything up and running on those later turns and hide behind that ability of the Resolute Heart on the Pikachu. Pikachu EX. There is no way of Matthew putting one damage counter on the Pikachu, you know, get around it with maybe the Adrenabrain ability or anything like that. And here we see the Prime Catcher, and this is exactly what I was thinking of.
Yep.
Maybe a Gust Up, take some early prizes with Ampu very much, and then maybe take a knockout on the Okie Dokie with the Pikachu EX and just hope that Matthew can't get up and running.
Which I think that's fairly sensible as well. We do see that Ampu very much as Gregory will take 2 prize cards. That's very sensible. Okie Dokie do need 2 energy get attached. You're sort of forcing an Okie Dokie to come down here with an energy if Matthew wants to stay in this game. But there's actually another card we haven't managed to talk about somehow for Matthew as we do see the flip the script. The Dudunsparce EX, a very good attacker in this matchup, funnily enough. Tenacious Tail to 60 for each one of your opponent's EX that they have in play. Right now, Gregory has 1, has 2, has 3, has 4, has 5 actually, funnily enough. So that's, wait,
300 damage.
Yeah, 300 damage. Every Pokemon in play is an EX actually.
Yeah, it's pretty big. You know, these types of decks like Miraidon, they have so many different types of 2 prize Pokemon that they want to take advantage of. You know, you use the Miraidon for Tandem Unit, you use this for that. You know, it has great synergy. Oh, here you see the legacy energy from Matthew.
Wait a minute, do we have access to the Dudunsparce in hand already? Because imagine that the Dudunsparce with the legacy energy on it as well. Legacy energy, in case you don't know, is an A-spec special energy card. The Pokemon it's attached to gives it 1 less prize card while it is KO'd. So here we go, Artisan. This might give us a little bit of inclination. Are we going to see Okie Dokie plus legacy energy, or are we going to see the Tenacious Tail from the Dudunsparce? That Tenacious Tail basically reads, when I'm using this against you, Gregory, my son, that's going to be a big 2 prize KO. Wow.
Yeah, we didn't mention the Artisan coming staying in play as well. This would have been massive for Matthew to keep those Okie Dokies nice and fresh on the field. Now, to Gregory's advantage, there is a Pheasantipity now on the field for Matthew, so that is an easier 2 prize to take out. But you know, this, you would imagine that Matthew is going to be able to take a knockout on his Iron Hands, just leaving the Pikachu, and Gregory really wants to be taking a knockout now on this Okie Dokie. Here we see the legacy energy attached to the Okie Dokie even.
Oh, that Dudunsparce got a free retreat cost. Oh, wow, it has. Oh, goodness gracious. There we do see that's a brave adrenaline. Oh, my goodness. How much hit points has that fella got right there?
So it now has 280 HP.
200, that's more hit points than the Iron Hands. And there we see the good punch. How about a fantastic punch as it KOs the Iron Hands thanks to weakness. And that's 2 prize cards for Matthew. Over to Gregory now. If you have the Topaz Bolt for 1 prize, it's not efficient. Discarding all your energy as well.
It doesn't leave you in a good position at all. For Gregory, this is the worst scenario for him because there's 2 Okie Dokie die now has to deal with. He would have hoped that Matthew may have not set up another one. Of course, that would have been tried. That would have just guesswork, right? Yeah. They would have just been like, oh, well, I hope you don't set up another one. But unfortunately for Gregory, you know, the Okie Dokie now with legacy energy attached and the Bravery Charm as well. It's just, you know, it's maybe a little bit too much to deal with at this point.
Benjamin, let's just think about this. Chat viewers, let's just think about this for a second. Now, bench Okie Dokie, that is a basic 0 prize Pokemon with 280 hit points.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Matthew's seeing the advantage of, you know, this strong single prize Pokemon in Okie Dokie, and it seems like his deck is just tailor-made to beat the rest of the format, taking advantage of Pokemon that have a lot of abilities on the field, or maybe a lot of EXs on the field, and also weakness. It would always help as well in this circumstance with the Okie Dokie. So, you know, Gregory is, you know, he's got a tough opponent to face in this last round of day 1. But, you know, if he is able to come out on top, it would have been, you know, fair play to him to get around this awkward archetype.
He's definitely got a gravity mountain to climb here, but, you know, he's found himself in this position 5-1-1, going to do everything he can to get out of this Okie Dokie-sized hole. Here we are going to see the Earth and Vessel going to discard that Galvantula, which I thought might be getting some use cases here, but with no Joltik, send it straight to the discard pile, get this energy. At the very least, Topaz Bolt will be live this turn. 300 damage from the Pikachu EX. Just have to discard all your energy. But remember, viewers, if Matthew can't get around that Pikachu, it has got that Resolute Heart ability, meaning even though it's going to get hit for weakness and should be getting sent to the discard pile, it will survive on 10 hit points. Now, consulting Matthew, I don't see any way to sort of pick that KO outside of the Monkey Dory, but I think the way this game's playing out, I don't know if Matthew will be able to sort of get energy attachments to get a Monkey Dory live. There we do see that Gravity Mountain that will reduce stage 2 hit points by 30. Not going to be relevant in this game, but it does at the very least replace Artisan. There's a turn attachment as well. Topaz Bolt's live then.
Yeah, I think that Gravity Mountain is just getting rid of that Artisan, getting rid of the opportunity for Matthew to establish a board even further. And here we see the Pikachu EX and Topaz Bolt for 300 damage, discarding all of the energy attached there as well. And one thing to keep in mind as well, Crispin would put 2 energy attached on the Pikachu, but it's that 1 more energy cost, which is going to be awkward to keep that Topaz Bolt up and running.
Sorry, I'm getting so excited. Matthew has a multitude of great cards in his hand. We have our boss's orders. We have an Iron Bundle. Every Pokemon on Gregory's side of the board is weak to fighting. So you can say, I don't care about your Resolute Heart Pikachu. Get to the bench. I'm going to KO anything. Sorry, Latias is not weak to fighting, but wow, Matthew can really get around this Artisan as well. Sorry, I missed that one. Artisan's coming in as well. Going to get Dudunsparce back. Wow.
Yeah, it's a super awkward board state for Gregory, but here we see highlighted the Iron Bundle. This is going to be a way to get around this Pikachu EX. If Matthew's able to find the Iron Bundle, this would be to great advantage. Maybe even taking another 2 prize.
There's the boss's orders onto Blood Moon Ursa Luna, who is fighting weak. Iron Bundle coming down as well. Said, I can play musical chairs as many times as you want, Gregory. But here we do see the Dudunsparce getting involved with that runaway draw. Benjamin. There we are going to see the good punch, the great punch. How about a monumental punch? That's 2 more prize cards for Matthew. Wow.
Doing a huge 340 damage on that Blood Moon Ursa Luna thanks to the weakness to fighting Pokemon on that Blood Moon Ursa Luna. So Matthew is just able to take these 2 prizes so easily at this point. And what I like about Matthew's board is that he did feel the safety of benching that Pheasantipity. If Gregory went through the route of, okay, I'm going to take a 2 prize, Matthew was safe enough to have a board of single prizes. Now that Gregory is on 3 prize cards remaining, you would think that Matthew's just feeling, you know, the pressure's off me at this point.
Yeah,
Gregory has an awkward way to victory at this point. Has to take 2 knockouts and 1 on the Pheasantipity. You would imagine, and needless to say, get around this Okie Dokie with the legacy energy attached as well.
Yeah.
I think Gregory sees the writing on the wall.
There we are. There we are going to see the concession. Matthew was able to win our Swiss round 8 game 1 feature match here with the Okie Dokie with some great punches, some fantastic punches, and some amazing punches as well. 1 win away from securing himself a slot in day 2 here in Utrecht. And here's the replay. Turn 2. Good punch, great punch, fantastic punch, all amount of punches, and that Joltik was sent straight to the discard pile, Benjamin.
Yeah, I think the story here was how awkward the HP cost of Okie Dokie was for Gregory to deal with. There's no way of easily dealing with it. You know, if you stayed at 130, you'd be able to amp you very much with a future energy boost capsule, but increase it by 100, you're getting a bit scary at this point. What Gregory really wants to be doing, if there is any awkward HP in the room, is take these 1 massive knockouts, big huge knockouts on these Pokemon instead, like the bigger players of the format, the bigger EXs. But you do not want to be taking a single prizer with the Topaz Bolt. You definitely don't want to be in that position.
No, and it is over to Gregory now, who's sort of on the hot seat here. Will have to win this game and the game 3 to game into day 2. Now, like I said, there were some interesting wrinkles I'd like to see. I think Gregory has got. We've got the Galvantula, that can be a 1 prize attacker. We also have the Iron Leaves, that's not weak to fighting. That can maybe pick up a cheeky KO. However, it does play the Maractus. Now, that can sort of corner us something. I know, Benjamin, you love a cheeky control deck yourself. Now, I think the only switching card that Matthew plays is the one copy of Chora, I believe. Is there Chora? There is no Chora.
There is no Chora.
So viewers, keep an eye out for that Maractus, that corner. Could lock something in the act that can't attack, and that could do Chora.
The only thing I would say is that you want to be, if you're Gregory, hoping that Matthew puts down one of these Pokemon that doesn't attack. It looks like everything can get around the Maractus, apart from, say, Iron Bundle, Pheasant Dippity can attack as well, and the Monkey Dory. But yeah, it's going to be pretty awkward for Gregory, but it's still a way to win. If you're able to get around energy being a factor, resource management being a factor, Maractus could definitely come into play. Here we see Gregory just looking at what he may want to start here, opting for the Joltik, which you believe is optimal in this list. Get that Jolting charge up running as soon as possible. But yeah, Matthew, I mean, what a deck we're seeing here.
Speaking about that guard bench, that's in the prize card, so is Blood Moon Ursaluna, but Matthew has prized 1 Luminous Energy. But here we go, our Swiss round 8 game 2 feature match is getting started here. Matthew, are we going to see Okidogi's energy? Okay, this is a very different game here. Matthew is going to fall behind on energy attachments on those Okidogi. Okidogi is how he won game 1. There is no Okidogi. Now it's over to Gregory, who has the polar opposite, a fantastic start. Tandem units live, going to grab any 2 basic lightning Pokemon, and has led that Joltik. I imagine we're going to be seeing Iron Hands very soon.
Yeah, this is an optimal start from Gregory, able to tandem unit now. You'd imagine those Iron Hands are going to come out thick and fast. Now going second as well, is able to Jolting charge as soon as possible, with Matthew now only starting that Monkey Dory and the Iron Bundle. You feel like Gregory really has to capitalise on this poor setup from Matthew as soon as possible, and you'd imagine a Jolting charge straight onto the Iron Hands. No mess about from Gregory, looking to take advantage of that poor start.
That hand is Nest Ball and basic energy.
Yeah, not fantastic. Does have Mew to bail him out perhaps in those later turns. Hasn't prized it fortunately enough for him, but of course does have 2 energy in hand as well, so it is going to have to get rid of those energy with some manual attachments before any sort of restart being effective. And here we see the Jolting charge, looking for those 2 grass, 2 lightning. Now, if this was the Miraidon of yesteryear, now you'd be getting those electric generators up and running as soon as possible, and perhaps taking a first turn knockout on the Monkey Dory. But you know, with this new build, looking to take advantage of Jolting charge, it's a little bit more consistent. You're not able to be as explosive, I would say, as the previous build.
I like that start from Gregory, and everything can capitalise on this poor start. Now, Matthew, okay, I'm going to say can't get back to the game via Iono. Crispin, but I'm going to say Iono though. Well, Gregory only had a 2-card hand, so going to bail out Gregory a little bit. But you know what? If you need to get cards, then you have to do it. Matthew, what are we going to see from these 6 new cards, my friend? We've got Luminous Energy, Buddy Puffin, Ultra Ball, and Dudunsparce as well.
You'd imagine the Buddy Puffin is going to find a couple of Dudunsparce to start using that runaway draw as soon as possible, get cards in hand, build up their hand size, get all of those resources in as much as possible. But here we are opting for the Scyther, in fact. Free retreat pivot, which is fantastic in this circumstance because you know you're going to be up and coming against the Iron Hands next turn. So, you know, you can have a bit of shenanigans here for Matthew. And here we see maybe going for that Ultra Ball, perhaps. Now, looking to maybe bench another Dudunsparce. Or maybe not. I don't know what he's thinking here.
Maybe Ultra Ball it away. Yeah. I quite like the idea of Scissor here, because if you're going to be too many turns back to effectively use Okidogi via Crispin, how about I just use my Scyther instead? Well, my Scissor instead, that's for 1 energy. That punishing a Scissors, 10 plus 50 feature Pokemon that your player has an ability. A lot of Gregory's deck has abilities, everything apart from Joltik. We are going to see Okidogi get bench, Luminous Energy get attached, and it is over to Gregory now. Has a fresh new massive hand of 6, plus the top deck 7. What can Gregory do? And I think I even saw a Prime Catcher as well.
Yeah, I'd love for Gregory to start doing some big knockouts here and start applying the pressure by taking a possible knockout on that Dudunsparce, you know, negating Matthew from drawing any cards next turn with that runaway draw. He does know, you know, Dudunsparce has been out for a while. Dudunsparce has been out for quite a while now in terms of a draw supporter. You know, it's been splashed into many different decks, so Gregory will be well aware of what's coming from Matthew's deck, apart from that Dudunsparce EX.
Yeah, did actually hide that all through game 1. And that's a Pokemon that could really hit hard. 60 for each Pokemon your opponent hasn't played that has an energy. That is a ridiculously high number. Now, we are going to see the Pokegear 3.0. Look at top 7 cards of your deck. Any support you find that you can put in your hand. I know, Crispin, Arvin. All fantastic options.
Yeah, many different ways that Gregory can go about this now. With the Arvin coming down, does have Prime Catcher in hand already, so can start taking big knockouts with that. Thank you very much, but it's that Okidogi is the biggest threat right now.
Really
already with that Luminous Energy attached. You imagine a good punch. Well, with only 1 card in hand, you want to hope, if you're Gregory, that he doesn't have anything else left in hand, no supporters to be found. But I feel like with that 1 card in hand, you really want to be taking out any sort of opportunity for Matthew to draw more. So if he's able to find, well, he does already have Gust, but if he's going to be gusting up anything, you'd imagine, or you'd be hoping it's going to be that Dudunsparce.
Yep, you hope so. There is an argument maybe trying to deny Scissor, but I think being able to deny draw, as you say, you're playing on the 1 card hand and then have access to 1 draw card, you have to go after that. Now we are going to see Future Boost Energy Capsule get attached to bench Iron Hands, including Arvin Search.
Yep.
Prime Catcher is in hand. Iron Hands coming down, perhaps. I must say, viewers, I love the full art Future Pokemon.
Oh yeah, they are.
That is a bit of me, I must say.
Still has a manually attached either, Gregory, and does have a Earthen Vessel in hand, so does have the option to go for some further energy, go for some more lightning, go for some more grass energy from the deck, start thinning out a little bit more as well. Oh, going for the Nest Ball on the Pheasant Dippity, preparing to face that open turn.
Chances are
this Iron Hands isn't surviving, right?
Yeah, that preemptively getting in play. But worth noting, has another Pokemon with ability though.
Yes.
It makes the punishing Scissors even more punishing. It's also an EX card. Tenacious Drill gets stronger.
For Matthew, it's not even a linear approach. You know, once all these Pokemon start getting benched, you're thinking, okay, this increases Dudunsparce by this damage. Oh, this increases Scissor by this damage. You're going to be really relishing all of these Pokemon coming down if you're Matthew right now. But Gregory, this is really precautious. You know, with only 1 card in hand for Matthew, benching that Pheasant Dippity, you worry if it's a bit too early, a bit too precautious.
I don't mind it though, because you haven't got a clue about what Matthew's really got. You said, no matter what happens, I'm drawing 3 cards. But here we do. Oh, we see the Prime Catcher into the Okidogi. And he's got in Iron Hands. Is he not aware that Luminous Energy turns on the ability straight away? Because maybe with the Future Boost Energy Capsule, he thinks Okidogi only has 1 40, but that's not KO.
Yeah, he thinks it's KO, maybe.
No. Oh, I'm not sure he's aware that the ability is live. That's going to boost that hit points up by 100. That's a 230 hit point Okidogi. It is not an 130 hit point Okidogi. Matthew said, well, while you read that, I'm going to continue my turn anyway. Next ball going to bring out Dudunsparce. Oh, no.
Yeah, Matthew's just continuing his turn right now. He's reading the card. This is pretty funny.
What was that 1 card then? We saw Next Ball.
Pheasant Dippity. So actually, Gregory is actually playing well right now, ironically. And of course, with Matthew now just having no other attacker apart from perhaps that Scizor, if he's able to evolve next turn, this is pretty good actually for Gregory. This is a pretty good spot.
Oh, so
he's pass over to Gregory now.
So, you know, Matthew wasn't able to immediately capitalise on that, but now thank you very much for enough. We'll take 2 fast cards, right?
So very much will take it into two prize cards now.
So.
And Matthew, nest balling for the Dudunsparce, we didn't speak about this, but this is probably the best way of going about it, just because if you are able to find a Dudunsparce on the next turn, you've bench blocked yourself really, so that pheasant might not come down. You want to start getting these attackers up and running. So I think this is the intelligent play here from Matthew. If he's able to find a Dudunsparce to runaway draw, you maximise your odds to find another one, then Dudunsparce runaway draw again. And here we see Gregory.
Opens up the door into runaway draw into your tenacious tail as well, gives you that option. That's actually a really awkward card for Gregory to deal with. It'd have to get Topaz Bolt, 270 hit points. It's not the easiest number in the world to hit, so something to keep an eye on. But Gregory, I feel as if hasn't been able to get away with that, as it were. Going to start the turn off with a Crispin, and it's a lot of energy Gregory's been able to get in play here. You know, you can just keep announcing attack after attack after attack and just hope that Matthew isn't able to do much. Last time didn't really do much anyway, so there's Gregory. I like this approach to saying, right, I'm going to get rid of your Okie Dokie. No matter what's coming up, if it hasn't got to hit points, it's going to get Topaz Bolt, no matter what it is. I
think for Gregory, it's trying to get as much energy down as much as possible to get his attacks up and running, because Matthew is able to take these very big knockouts very easily. So in Gregory, for energy management, it's pretty awkward, right? And to deal with a difficult HP with that Okie Dokie, I think for Gregory, it's Crispin as much as possible. If you can take advantage of that, let's go for it.
Basically, no matter how many tricks you've got up your sleeve, I'm not going to keep attacking. I should be okay. But there is, thank you very much. That will be 2 prize cards there.
Now it's a knockout.
It is over to Matthew. Did top deck a research. Here we go, Matthew. Going to try and get back in the driver's seat. What can he manufacture here? We'll flip the script. We have Professor's research. We've got a winner rate draw. We've got a scissor. Should the scissor get a KO here? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. It does.
Yes.
Could see the punishing scissors. And that's the thing about Matthew's deck. This is saying, what sort of trap can I spring on you? Is it going to be the Dudunsparce CX? Is it going to be Okie Dokie plus Crispin combination? Is it going to be the scissor? So many ways.
I think the scissor only actually does 210. It's 50. No, it's 50 for each ability.
Oh, okay.
So it's 210 with punishing scissors.
Okay,
you can get around it with Iron Bundle, but you'd imagine Gregory's going to be promoting that Joltik for a single prize to get advantage.
I got excited there, Ben. Thanks for reeling me back in there.
However, the Dudunsparce has come on board now. So that will be doing a significant amount of damage right now. That will be doing 300 damage, right? 5 EX on board for Gregory. So this tenacious tail is going to be doing massive amounts of damage right now on that iron hands for the 2 prize knockouts. And Matthew's so eager right now. I mean, he's taking his prize cards just announcing attack before Gregory can even read the cards in response. He's going, well, no, it is a knockout.
It is. Now, the only problem with this is that does get Topaz bolted. That will be down to Gregory to 2 prize cards. It shouldn't be. There is a present on the board as well. So basically, it might not be. Actually, in saying that, we'll have to discard all his energy for Topaz bolt.
Yes.
So it's not,
it's not easy. It's not. Just because Gregory's already used his prime catcher, so you want to be able to get as many energy down on the Maridon as soon as possible for a possible knockout on that Pheasantipity. But if you're able to use Topaz Bolt on the Dudunsparce, it will put you Gregory, 2 prize cards away, and like you said, you'd be looking to take a knockout on that Pheasantipity.
There we go.
You imagine it's going on that Maridon, but Crispin will get you 2 different types of energy. So the lightning attachment on the Maridon, is there any way to search out another lightning energy in the hand to prepare, or just an attachment of another energy type, a grass or a psychic? Give me the Lily's Clefairy. That will take a knockout on the Pheasantipity for the full bench for both players, right? So that is an easier way to take a knockout on the Pheasantipity. Just 2 energy attachments for the Lily's Clefairy. You can imagine now that's going to be the way forward for Gregory. This is such an interesting game now. It really is. It's a game of toing and throwing really at this point.
It's a shame Matthew doesn't play Night Stretch. I could just play Super Pod, I guess. I'd love to see, if we can't get Okie Dokie down, it's going to be hard. I'd love to see another Dudunsparce, actually. Assuming we see a Topaz Bolt, just have another Dudunsparce and say, right, can you hit for the 270 again?
Yes.
I would like that.
At some point, Gregory will have to gust now, right? I mean, you can gust, well, you can't gust now, you're just Crispin, so it's going to be the circumstance in the next turn whether Gregory can gust once more. An energy attachment on that Lily's Clefairy will prepare that for the knockout on the Pheasantipity, but it's whether Matthew sees that play and benches more Pokemon in that next turn. I think what could be a way for, well, no, you can't. I keep saying that he can gust it up again, but he has Crispin. So it's whether Matthew sees that line of play and benches more Pokemon during his turn.
Yeah.
And with runaway draw, he is able to take Pokemon off board, right?
Yes, great point, actually. But I'm going to see the big Topaz Bolt from Gregory. 2 prize cards left. Over to Matthew. What can we do? I see Crispin, I see Boss's Orders, I see runaway draw, I see Flip the Script's going to be the first one up.
And I think awkward for Matthew, he's going to be forced to use that Hyper Blow if he's not able to find any gust. And Gregory, you'd imagine, is going to be promoting that Joltik. And Matthew doesn't really want to be forced to take a single prize in this circumstance.
There is Boss's Orders in hand, to be fair. Does have Scissor, does have Energy and Legacy Energy.
Does have Legacy Energy also, yes.
There is Artisan.
I mean, maybe attach Legacy to Pheasantipity. No, but then you're not doing damage.
Yeah, you're not doing damage.
Yeah, you need to take a knockout this turn if you're Matthew at this point. Preferably 2. Preferably a 2-prizer.
Yes.
Yeah, and you're going to be forced to use that Scissor as well.
I mean, Scissors not bad though. Boss Orders plus Scissor gets you there, right?
Yeah, it's doing 250 at this point.
You can actually Boss Orders to Clefairy to remove all the energy from play, right?
You could. It's doing 250 at this point. So taking a knockout on that Lily's
Legacy as well.
Legacy energy, punishing Scissors.
There's the Boss's Orders onto Lily's Clefairy, but we're going to have 0 energy in play.
260 damage now with his punishing Scissors on Lily's Clefairy.
Punishing Scissors, cutting that Clefairy straight to the discard pile. Going to have to pick that card up as well. 10 plus 50 for each Pokemon in play. Your opponent has an ability more than enough to KO that Clefairy. I think it's actually weak to metal as well, Mark.
I think at this point, if you're Gregory, you want to be promoting that Joltik, using that Joltik card and just hoping that Matthew isn't able to find it. Doesn't play any Ino, as most of the Joltik lists do. So there's not going to be any disruption to Matthew's hand. And with 1 Dudunsparce and a massive hand to go with it, you'd imagine Matthew is going to be finding a way to take a knockout next turn. Oh, this is interesting. Another Pokemon. Oh no!
Had the game in hand. The Boss's Orders plus Blood Moon combination, evening us up here in our Swiss Game 2 feature match. Gregory able to win that one, coming back from the brink of disaster, from all manner of traps and surprises. Tenacious Tail and Okie Dokie and Scissor. Gregory said, okay, it's fine. I want to be in day 2. How about I win this one? Put it all down to a game 3. Love to see that from Gregory. This was a very different game to game 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, what a fantastic game this was by both our players. Now, Matthew's going to be in his mind, did I have to bench that Pheasantipity? He did top deck the research. Maybe he cautiously benched the Pheasantipity just in case he didn't get enough resources in the hand from the research. But this is exactly what I mean. Gregory, if he's able to take advantage of the prize race, if he's able to use at least 1, thank you very much. If Matthew puts down another couple of 2 prizes, maybe Gregory's able to take this game.
Yeah, and this Gregory was able to exactly what he needed to do. Weather the Storm, Topaz Block plus Amphi very much, plus Blood Moon Ursa Luna. And that's all you needed, as you say. And both players will be furiously shuffling up. They want to have enough time for for a game 3. Quite honestly, I want there to be enough time for a game 3. 14 minutes. Here we go. I would love to see a conclusion from this game. 2 decks I quite love. I've been a fan of Joltik. I wasn't a fan of Dogi before, but seeing it in action I am now. So I want to see one of our players here in day 2.
Yeah, you imagine there's going to definitely be a winner from this game. We've got through 2 games within a significant amount of time, but I think 13, 14 minutes is just the right amount of time I think to see a win, plus 3 additional
as well,
and especially with Gregory playing so many 2-prize Pokemon, if Matthew is able to take advantage of that, to go a 2-2-2 prize trade against Gregory, you imagine it's going to be a winner. And for Gregory, he really wants to tell a story just like he did in game 2, take advantage of the very much as possible.
Gregory did prize his 1 copy of Latias EX, but here we go. Game 2, Okie Dokie, Energy, Dudunsparce, Cypher. There we go. Off to a good start. Is over to Gregory now. Has opted to leave Miraidon in the active, and when you prize your Latias, that's stuck there.
Yeah, there's no way of finding it. There's no way of retreating unless you have the manual attachment. But of course, if you're manually attaching, it means that you're not able to use that jolting charge on turn 1. This isn't a fantastic spot to be in if you're Gregory. He's going to be tanning unit now, and he's going to be looking through his deck, just trying to find that Latias. Do I have a way of finding it? I don't think there's any other supporter in there apart from Boss. He does have the Pokegear to try and find a potential Arven, but at this point, what are you Arvening for? If you can't find Nestball for,
I guess
use Nestball for Latias. Does have Prime Catcher.
Yeah, Prime Catcher, Iron Leaves can play a little bit of musical chairs. Actually, this scenario, because it would need energy and actually to make it useful. But yeah, the way of using jolting charge here, it might be a little bit tough.
This is awkward because you really just want to use Prime Catcher to just get out of the active into a jolting charge. But with this archetype, this is a weakness I think of this jolting archetype, is that you have to use jolting charge. I feel like if you don't use it turn 1, I feel like your likelihood of winning the game just really plummets, right?
Yeah, well, that's the reason why boss players we traditionally call it Joltik box. We don't call it Miraidon box. We call it because they are so built around that jolting charge. As you do say, Miraidon decks of yesterday would have electric generator to get extra energy in play. All you've got here is Crispin if you are Gregory. Was that Crispin hand actually?
I think he's going to try and find one.
Yep.
Or an Arven to try and find the Prime Catcher. There's an
Arven.
There's Arven. This isn't the better of the 2. I think you would hope for a Crispin more than an Arven.
I think it's that full out Crispin. Yeah, there is. There is.
Is there? Yes, there is.
But we're going to anyway. Okay.
Maybe seeing the advantage of keeping the Crispin for energy acceleration for knockouts rather than using a charge.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense actually.
Looking for the Nestball. No, going for the Nestball, you're going to be looking for the Latias. I don't think he's realised that he's prized this Latias. Now that he's played the Arven, he's going to be forced to use that Prime Catcher if he wants to get this Miraidon out of the active. I think using that Arven, he didn't call. I guess
he could have a skateboard, no?
Rescue board. Going for that's right. Going for that rescue board. That's something that I didn't see initially, but going for that rescue board is going to put on the Miraidon, and with that 1 energy retreat cost, limiting it to a free retreat at this point, and a Nestball as well. Perhaps going for another Iron Hands like we did see in the game before.
But we do see the free retreat thanks to the rescue board. We are going to see a turn attached to the active as well. Then we're going to see a jolting charge.
Jolting charge.
Energy.
Yeah, 4 energy. And you imagine they all going onto that Iron Hands EX. 2 grass energy, 2 lightning energy. Such a great way of accelerating energy, and it's such an integral part of the deck to accelerate as early as possible. You'd imagine them all going onto this Iron Hands, but at this point, if you just look over to Matthew's board, I think Gregory would have been preoccupied with how am I going to get this jolting charge off? He's staring down an Okie Dokie with a fighting energy attached already, with just 1 luminous energy, or the legacy energy, or the dark energy actually. He does have basic dark energy at this point as well. No way to find the energy apart from Crispin, I might add, no Earthen Vessel. You're hoping that Matthew isn't able to find said energy to start getting that good punch up and running.
Now we do see evolve into the Ino, evolve into Dudunsparce and Ino. Matthew playing really fast here. Let's have a look. How much damage is that Tenacious Tail doing? 180?
It's doing 180, but I think if
there's luminous energy though.
There is luminous energy. Is he able to find the Iron Bundle to take an early 2-prize lead?
Just had Artisan. Artisan gets there, right? Or Nestball.
Yeah, Nestball.
Oh my goodness. Buddy Puffin.
Buddy Puffin. Able to go for those Dudunsparce, thin out the deck even more for the later turn.
Even Cypher as well. I need to take 2 prize cards every turn.
Now, does he see the line of play with an Artisan and the Iron Bundle? This is huge for Matthew. If he's able to take these 2 prizes now.
He has to.
Yeah, I feel like you have to at this point, like you said. Going for the Artisan. Penny on the Artisan. It's being used here.
Of course he's seen it. There it is, Benjamin. Iron Bundle, Hyper Blower. Going to push that Joltik straight to the bench force. You could put Resolute Heart in the active, perhaps.
I think that's something that you might be forced to do. Now, Matthew doesn't have any way of more or less trickling damage apart from Monkey Glory. And if Okie Dokie can soak up a hit at this point, that Adrenal Brain in connection with Adrenal Power is going to be able to take a knockout on the Pikachu EX and maybe potentially go for a 4-prize swing next turn.
Yeah, so there we do see the good punch. How about a terrific punch there? Thanks to that Resolute Heart ability. That will not be a KO though. Is over to Gregory. What do we have? Crispin. Oh, we did get Iron. Does have a lot more cards in hand right now.
We do have Bravery Charm. You feel like that Bravery Charm would be pretty useful to attach to that Pikachu EX at this point to put it out of range of Adrenal Brain.
Yeah, great point.
Yeah. Now Matthew doesn't have any way to get rid of any tool cards, so if Gregory's able to see that, it's definitely going to be a strong option for him. But at this point, how do you want to manually retreat the Pikachu? I think at this point you're forced to, of course, with no Latias on board, if you're not able to use the Prime Catcher. But we've already spoken about how important it is to have as much energy on field to start doing these big knockouts.
Especially if you haven't taken awkward 1-prize carries, I wouldn't have wanted to.
Yes.
Being able to just announce attacks. I think that's Gregory's aim of the game here. Just announce attacks every time. Because if Matthew's attacking, something bad's happening. You need to be able to just respond. As we do see Nestball for Pheasant Dippity EX at the field.
I think if you're Gregory, you really want to be taking a big knockout here. You don't want to be having any sort of damage on board, so Adrenal Brain is active for Matthew. I think with the Crispin in hand already, maybe a Topaz Bolt is the way forward here, getting rid of any sort of threat on board, but it definitely doesn't get rid of that Dudunsparce staring him down on the bench either. 200 HP on that Okie Dokie, you can't get over it. That's so awkward for Gregory to deal with. You see the Earthen Vessel, getting rid of that Iron Hands, understanding I have my attacks on board at this point. I'm not putting down any more EX Pokemon to increase the damage output of that Tenacious Tail. Going for potentially the Grass and Lightning Energy. You really want to start putting pressure on Matthew. So potentially a Crispin coming up later on as well. This is really awkward now for Gregory, isn't it?
It really is. He's just going to take those energy, and it's probably going to give us a little bit more. I think since he's shuffling the deck now, I imagine we're not going to be seeing the Crispin. So was it Boss's Orders, other support in hand? I mean, we could see a Pay Retreat attached active. Boss's Orders take 2 prize cards of Ampy very much on one of the Dudunsparce. That's perfectly fine.
Yep, that's fine, yeah.
And I imagine that is what we're going to see. We do see a turn attached to bench. We are going to see What are we going to see? Ooh,
Manual retreat into Pikachu.
Not into the Miraidon. Okay, I thought the way he was moving the Miraidon. I was like, no. But here we are going to see Ampy very much. Iron Hands at the active. We are going to see a boss's orders there onto the Dudunsparce. Did pick the one with a free retreat cost as well. Look at Ampy very much. 2 prize cards for Gregory. Is over to Matthew. Now both players want to finish this game. Nestball.
Top deck research as well.
Oh my goodness.
For turn. Now this is a huge turn for Matthew. If he's able to use that dread. Oh, well, no, can't use it.
No, can't use it. But there we go. But Bravery Charm, and then we're going to see the Professor's research there as well. Going to quickly shuffle that deck. Time is ticking. Both players would love to finish this game.
Yeah, and with that Festivity on board, with the Bravery Charm as well, increasing its HP to 260 damage. This is massive. And of course, Matthew is currently taking a knockout on his Iron Hands with good punch as well. So imagine Matthew's going to be evening up the prize trade this turn as well. Another Luminous Energy in hand can set up another Okidogi for future turns. You definitely tell that the pressure's on for both of these players of how fast they play. Matthew, yeah, searching out another Okidogi. You imagine the Luminous Energy is going to be attached straight away. There we see it as well. And at this point, Matthew really just wants to be streaming these good punches one turn after the other.
There we go. A fantastic punch for 2 prize cards. Down to 4 prize cards. Gregory's also on 4 prize cards. Hasn't got any energy in play though, Ben. Well, I say that he's got 1. There's a Crispin in hand as well, but we can't get to Pikachu EX in 1 turn. That's not a possibility.
No, we can't. Now, Matthew does, well, he's going to be having 2 additional turns regardless towards turn of time, towards time being called, sorry. So is Matthew able to take the game in 2 turns? Is he able to find Gust twice if Gregory takes advantage of the Galvantula, perhaps, and take a knockout? But this is just so awkward for Gregory. He's got to find a way around this awkward HP cost of the Okidogi. Is he able to Gust up the Dudunsparce and take a knockout with the Pikachu EX in the later turn? But I feel like you're forced to Jolting charge at this point, right?
You are.
No energy on board. You definitely don't want to be Crispening. Unless you could Crispin in addition to Jolting charge, get a lot of energy down on board. But again, it just gives Matthew another turn, right?
It does. As we do see Ultra Ball going to be played here. Only 2 minutes 30 seconds left on the clock. Oh. Hold on a second. Hold on a second here. I mentioned this coming into this game for a corner. 20 damage dodge your opponent from retreating. But what are we? Oh, Festivity.
Festivity is definitely a choice for the corner. Now, it is a Pokemon that is able to attack, of course. So you want to be stalling for time, essentially, for Gregory. Going to be going for that corner on that Festivity. But Matthew is able to manually attach turn after turn. But of course, with time being... Oh, here we see the Crispin, actually. Crispin will accelerate energy onto that Festivity.
Can't attack with it yet.
Can't attack with it yet, no. He's just going to have to wait until next turn.
Brilliant Arrow does pick up on the Pikachu EX, though.
Oh, no. It's Terrestrial.
Oh, it's a Terra. Oh, GG. That is a great point there. Now, that would be sad, wouldn't it? Imagine that in your Swiss round 8 feature game 3.
Yeah. But I think for Matthew, it's just taking a knockout turn after turn at this point. If you're able to take a knockout on the Joltik as well. But of course, with that 20 damage on board for Matthew, that Adrenaline is active now.
That is a fantastic point, actually.
Yeah, so
if you got a bench spot with one away draw as well. Oh, wow. Okay, that is something we want to keep an eye on here. Matthew has potential for a 4 prize turn. Monkey Dory, Adrenaline after 20 damage from Festivity onto bench Pikachu EX, 2 prize cards, and hit whatever you like in the active for 2 prize cards. We do see a Crispin conclude in time. It's getting close, 50 seconds. We'll get confirmation if both clocks are accurate. Remember, if time is called, you get 3 additional turns. If the game does not conclude, then that's all she wrote.
Does have boss in hand already, so if he's able to boss up one of these 2 prize Pokemon, I think what's awkward here is getting around the corner.
Oh, we see the corner.
You see the corner.
30 seconds left. Yeah, we see Artisan. Oh my goodness, I think he sees it. Crispin
will put the energy on for the Cruel Arrow. I think what he's going for here...
Are we going to see the one-away draw plus Monkey Dory?
You would hope so. I think that, well, Crispin's attached the fighting energy onto that Festivity. That Festivity isn't going anywhere, however.
We have time as well. 10 seconds. I'm on the edge of my seat here.
Does have the runaway draw Artisan already in play with the Dark Energy in hand. So the Monkey Dory is definitely an option at this point. Is able to take an easy prize on that Pikachu EX. So...
Oh, I just got confirmation. Time has been called. 3 additional turns. Matthew can very easily still win this game, though. So can Gregory, to be fair. Artisan. This is going to find there's the Monkey Dory.
So the Monkey Dory, I think what's interesting at this point is that you want to Cruel Arrow onto one of these 2 prize Pokemon and trying to bring it next turn. However, for Gregory, so you want to Cruel Arrow twice onto one of these 2 prize Pokemon in connection with the Adrenaline will take a knockout either on the Miraidon EX or the Festivity. That will mean that Gregory is forced to put up 2 prize Pokemon to take a knockout on the Festivity, but then the 2 prizes are active.
So this is
pretty much a chess game at this point, right? Does go for that Monkey Dory. Definitely does need to take a knockout on this Pikachu EX. The faster that Gregory...
Well, to be fair, can you not just... oh, no, there's not damage in play, because could you Monkey Dory Pikachu next turn, Monkey Dory Joltik and Cruel Arrow active, but we need a little bit more damage in play for that to work.
Yes, yeah, we do. So I think for now, Cruel Arrowing onto one of the 2 prize Pokemon does have 2 prizes left. This is a real thinker at this point.
It really is. It really is. What a barnstorm. We've expected this. Okie dokie. Okay, so 3 additional turns. It should be turn 0. Try and get confirmation of that. Okay, we do see Dark Energy attached to bench Monkey Dory. Adrenaline is live. Then you move 3 damage counts from one of your Pokemon to one of your opponents. That's it. Take your time now. Knowing that Gregory plays Bravery Charm, you feel like Matthew has to knock out this Pikachu. It's not even a thought at this point. I think, fair play, overthinking it a little bit at this round 8 and winning in, I'll give him benefit of the doubt. But I think the Adrenaline on the Pikachu has to happen if Matthew wants to take this game. And of course, Gregory does have 2 additional turns going into this time end of game as well, so could even take game himself if he's able to take a knock out on the Festivity and the Dudunsparce. EX. So this is turn 0. Gregory gets turn 1, Matthew gets turn 2, Gregory gets turn 3.
Yeah.
Remember that Cruel Arrow, just does 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. There is no discarding engine attack this turn. You can do it every turn. So
where does
it has to be Pikachu.
It has to be Pikachu.
It has to be. Maybe what about an Ino perhaps?
Oh,
go on to the Joltik. Okay.
But now Gregory is just going to be attaching that Bravery Charm if he's able to find one onto that Pikachu and put it out of range of the Adrenaline. This is still a way forward. This is still a way forward because taking the Joltik does put him down to 3 prizes. So keeping that Maractus in the active, at least you're able to take a knockout with Cruel Arrow next turn.
I'll get now because you can corner again. I was going to say if you next turn Adrenaline onto that KO, has to put a 2 prize anything for your Okidogi to KO, but you can corner again. So.
Yeah, so Adrenaline onto here and then Cruel Arrow the Maractus.
Yeah, that also gets there as well.
Yeah.
Multiple ways to skin a card as well. It's over to Gregory.
I say this. I'm pointing to the screen right now. I mean Adrenaline onto the Pikachu and then Cruel Arrow onto the Maractus.
Yeah, so we're both riveting eyes peeled watching our screen here. It's over to Gregory. Flip script has been used. Tandem unit. So this should be turn 1.
Yes, this should be turn 1. So can't afford... well, if you corner again, if you're able to promote maybe a... Oh, this is really awkward.
It really is. I don't know, because you can't corner again, because then Adrenaline onto Pikachu, Cruel Arrow active.
I don't know if Gregory has a way of not losing this game other than attaching a Bravery Charm to this Pikachu.
I think you're correct. I think you are.
I think by another 50 damage would put it out of way of the Adrenaline, but even then can still... Matthew's still able to get around of it by Adrenaline onto the Maractus instead. And then boss
yeah,
the Pikachu.
yeah. No, you're correct, actually.
So it's a little bit of a...
I mean, in the hands of Brave Charm, I think there's one copy of Brave Charm. Have you seen it already?
I definitely did see it last game, I believe.
Oh, this is tough. Gonna have a look at Scissors. I think he's debating kind of boss's order stall here, perhaps. Scissors retreat cost is 2.
I don't know if he maybe got rid of the Bravery Charm earlier on.
Yeah,
or maybe it was Ironed away.
I've seen it in this game 3. Maybe it was Ironed away. We're going to see an Ultra Ball here. That will give us a look at the deck.
Does have Alvin in hand, so if he does find it in deck with this Ultra Ball, is able to find it with Alvin at least.
Let's have a look. No.
You maybe just want a Bravery Charm onto the Pikachu and just hope...
Slam Pikachu into the active?
Yeah, and just hope that Matthew isn't able to find Gust. Nest Ball another Pikachu down. I think for Gregory now, it's a way of how do I not lose this game, rather than how do I win it. Nowhere near enough energy on board to take the win.
Okay. Matthew can crisp in pay retreat to get out of the Scissor, though.
Yes,
that is a possibility.
It is a one attachment. It is a one energy attachment.
Oh, if I had a heart rate monitor on now, folks, I promise you, we're looking at the 160, 170 BPMs. I'm telling you, this is so close. Pikachu in the active. Okay, Matthew, can you get Scissor out the active? Oh,
does have boss.
Does have boss. Oh, that's it then, right? Boss's orders, punishing Scissors KO. Wait, Pikachu?
No,
you can't do.
No, yeah.
Oh, then you're trying to break up onto the Miraculous, and Matthew with the Okie Dokie will get into day 2 with a good punch, a superb punch. How about outstanding punches as he locks himself a slot into day 2? Monkey Dory closing it all out, and Scissor with the punishing Scissors. Matthew, massive smile on your face. Congratulations.
Power of the Adrena Brain, Adrena Power, who thought they'd be a match made in heaven.
Yep.
Especially in Matthew's circumstance, Adrena Power just showing a great example of how these smaller single price Pokemon, sometimes the abilities can put it in connection with the format, and how can you take advantage of these awkward HP costs in the format. And here we see a great replay. Matthew using that good punch like you mentioned, taking advantage of the weakness of these lightning Pokemon, and of course the Bloodmoon Luna colourless Pokemon as well in this circumstance. Legacy energy and the HP cost, it just proved too awkward for Gregory to deal with.
So that's just rude. A 0 prize, 280 hit point basic Pokemon that hits you for weakness, and that was all she wrote really for game 1, as Matthew was able to win it up. Game 2, bit of a different story, Gregory was able to stabilise, did what he needed to do. Matthew was really slow out of the race. We didn't see the turn 1 energy attachment. Here we did see the Prime Catcher into the Amphi very much, which would have been a KO had that not been a Luminous energy, but then did effectively get away with it. We did see Amphi very much again. Tenacious Drill, a big fan of that attack to be fair, but gets Topaz Bolt sent to the discard pile, and that's what she wrote for game 2, as we do see the closing of Boss's orders plus a Blood Moon combination, and in game 3, Rabbi, that was one for ages.
That was definitely one to keep an eye on for our neutral fans out there. Now, this was a real thinker getting around the Adrena Brain, and of course awkward HP costs, as well as Gregory's corner attacking as well. This will definitely be one that a lot of players will be thinking about. What would I do different? That's just telling. I mean, Gregory had so much to deal with in that game. All these threats coming on board would have been a real surprise. I think he read every single attacker. He read the Dudunsparce, he read the Okie Dokie and the Sizzle. So, fortunately for Matthew, taking advantage of the mystery of these Pokemon, these aren't the typical type of decks that you'll face. And, for Gregory, unfortunately, you definitely do feel with him, right?
Yeah, I feel for Gregory there. It's